Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're zeroing in on something you definitely see all the time. Direct and indirect speech.
That's right.
Our source material is called Mastering Direct and Indirect Speech, a must-watch for every student.
Mm-hmm.
And really, our aim here is pretty simple, right? We want to give you a solid handle on why this stuff matters and, how it works without getting totally bogged down in grammar rules.
Exactly. I mean, think about it from reading the news to just understanding conversations around you, knowing the difference between exact words and a reported version. It's actually surprisingly powerful.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, we want to equip you with that understanding sort of quickly and clearly.
Okay, let's try and unpack this then. Direct speech.
Mm-hmm.
Think of that as the raw quote, the original speaker's actual words.
Well,
and you'll see them wrapped in quotation marks. So someone says, the meeting is at 3. That's it. Direct speech. Simple.
Spot on. It's like a direct line, isn't it, to the source. You get their exact phrasing, maybe even a hint of their tone.
Exactly. Now, indirect speech, that's where it gets a little different. That's when we report what someone said, but, in our own words.
Uh-huh.
So no quotation marks usually. Instead, it's more of a rephrasing. Our example, the meeting is at 3, might become something like, they said that the meeting was at 3.
Right, and notice that little shift becomes was. That's common.
That grammatical tweak.
And what's kind of interesting there is how that shift often reflects a change in perspective or maybe just time passing. You're not hearing the original voice directly anymore.
Okay, so it's more of a filtered version, you could say.
Yeah, exactly. A filtered version, which, naturally leads to the question, why does this distinction actually matter? Is it just grammar nerds who care?
Uh-huh. Good question. Why should you, the listener, care about this? Well, let's take that news article example you mentioned earlier.
Okay.
If you see a direct quote, those quotation marks, again, you're getting, or you should be getting, the speaker's precise words. Right. But if it's reported using indirect speech, like the official stated that the situation was under control, well, that's the reporter's summary.
And that summary, even if accurate, can subtly change the emphasis, maybe leave something out, or just frame it differently. It's an interpretation.
So understanding which helps you read between the lines a bit.
Definitely. But it's not just about spotting interpretation. Think about efficiency, too. Using indirect speech lets you summarize.
Ah, okay. So instead of repeating some long, rambling statement someone made.
Exactly. You can just give the gist. You report the core message concisely, like, he explained why the project was delayed. Much quicker than quoting his whole 5-minute explanation.
Right. That makes practical sense. It's a tool for, well, clearer communication in a way.
Spot on.
So boiling it down, direct speech is the original words, usually in quotes.
Check.
Indirect speech is your summary or report of those words, often with some small grammatical changes like tense shifts.
Exactly. And as the source material points out, this is really vital for students.
Right. The must-watch for every student part.
Well,
why specifically students?
Well, think about academic work. You're constantly reading sources, analyzing arguments, reporting findings.
Quoting people, summarizing research.
Precisely. So knowing how to quote accurately using direct speech and how to summarize or report information clearly using indirect speech, it's pretty fundamental. It's about academic honesty and clear writing.
And just good comprehension skills generally, I suppose.
Absolutely. It affects how you understand what you read and how clearly you express what you've learned.
Okay. So for everyone listening, what's the main takeaway here? What should you be thinking about after this?
I think the core thing is just awareness. Start noticing when you're seeing direct quotes versus reported speech.
Paying attention to those quotation marks or the lack of them.
Yeah, and the phrasing like, she said that, or they claimed. Recognizing whether you're getting the raw words or someone else's version gives you a sharper lens for understanding information.
Bit more critical reading, maybe?
You could put it that way, yeah. Discernment. So, quick recap. Direct speech, verbatim quote. Inside quotes.
Got it.
Indirect speech, a rephrased account, no quotes usually, maybe some tense changes. Understanding that basic difference, that empowers you.
Empowers you to be a more discerning reader, like you said, and maybe a more effective communicator, too.
Definitely.
Which brings us nicely to a final thought to leave you with. Something to mull over, perhaps.
Okay.
How might just being more aware of direct and indirect speech, actively noticing it, how might that change the way you interpret things you read or hear every day?
Ooh, interesting question.
Or even how you choose to communicate your own ideas. When do you choose to quote someone directly versus summarizing what they said?
Yeah, that's a great point. It's subtle, but language choices like these really do shape meaning and perception. Definitely something worth thinking about.